Hello, my friends. I am truly happy to see you here again. My name is David, and this is the Speak English podcast, the place where you can learn to speak English with more confidence and more ease, step by step. Every week, I am here with simple, friendly lessons that you can understand and follow without stress. I believe that speaking English should feel natural, not like a test or a complicated set of rules. So, in this podcast, I speak slowly, I speak clearly, and I use words you already know or can easily understand. This way, even if you are still at a basic or intermediate level, you will be able to follow the story, repeat the phrases, and enjoy yourself while practicing. My goal is for you to feel as if we are sitting and talking together in a warm and friendly conversation. Today's topic is something I truly enjoy teaching because it is so practical and can make a big difference in your daily life. We will talk about 10 essential English expressions for everyday use. These are expressions you can use when you meet people, when you go shopping, when you order food, when you answer a question, or when you just want to sound more natural in a conversation. Many students think they need to memorize hundreds and hundreds of words before they can speak English well. Others believe they must study for years before being able to have a real conversation with a native speaker. But this is not true. The truth is, if you know certain expressions that people use all the time, you can already communicate very well. You can sound natural, and you can feel confident, even with a small amount of vocabulary. Let me give you an example. If you meet a friend, or even someone you don't know very well, in a shop or on the street, you can say, "How's it going?" This short sentence can start a conversation right away. It is friendly, it is natural, and almost every English speaker knows it. You do not need to think about other complicated ways to ask, "How are you doing?" or "How have you been recently?" One simple phrase can help you connect. The same thing happens in other moments in life. For example, when you are in a store and a salesperson asks if you need help, you can smile and say, "I'm just looking." It is short, it is polite, and it communicates exactly what you want. You do not have to search in your mind for many words. You only need one ready expression, and you can speak without fear. This is why today's lesson is so important. I have seen so many students studying for years, but still feeling nervous when they have to speak. They forget that language is a tool to communicate, not something to keep locked inside your head. When you know these essential expressions, it is like having keys in your pocket. You can open the door to a conversation anytime, and the more you use them, the more automatic they become. You will not stop to think about the correct form or about the translation in your language. You will just use them naturally, like you do in your native language. I also know that many learners feel shy or even afraid to speak English with others. Maybe you have experienced this. You are in a café, you understand that the barista is asking what you want to order, but you hesitate and freeze because you are thinking too much about the perfect answer. This is normal, and you are definitely not alone. One of the best ways to change this is to practice a few essential expressions so many times that they come out without any effort. If you do that, when the moment comes, you will not feel panic. You will simply answer, and the conversation will continue easily. This is why repeating and hearing these sentences is so valuable. You are not just learning the words, you are training your mind and your mouth to work together in real speed. I want you to imagine something. Imagine you are carrying a small toolbox. Inside are your essential English expressions. When you are in a situation where you need to speak, you look inside and the right tool is there, ready. It is not buried under hundreds of other tools you never use. It is in your hand, ready to help you. That is exactly what will happen if you keep listening, repeating, and actually using these expressions in daily life. Remember, this is not about perfect pronunciation or grammatically complex sentences. It is about connection, about being understood, and about feeling comfortable speaking. You do not need to know every word in English to start speaking. You can do it today with what you already know, and your skills will grow naturally from there. Learning and using essential expressions is like planting seeds. In the beginning, they are small, but the more you use them, the more they grow into strong, healthy language skills. So, as we go through this lesson and the next ones, I encourage you to repeat after me when I say an expression. Say it out loud, even if you are alone in your room. Your mouth needs training, like a muscle. Just hearing the words in your head is not enough. You need to feel them in your mouth. You need to hear your own voice say them. This will make a huge difference. I am truly excited to share these essential expressions with you because I know they can change the way you feel about speaking English. If you stay with me and practice a little each day, I promise you will see progress, and you will enjoy speaking English more and more. Confidence grows with use, not with waiting. And every time you use one of these expressions successfully, it is like a small victory. Small victories build great confidence. Now, before we move forward, I want to ask you for a quick favor that will help both of us. If you are enjoying this lesson, and if you want to keep receiving more practical and easy-to-follow English practice like this, take 1 second to subscribe to this channel and click the like button on this video. When you do that, you help this community grow, and you make sure you never miss a new episode. Go ahead, click subscribe, click like, and let's keep learning English together here at the Speak English podcast. I want to start today by talking about something very common that happens when people learn English. I speak with students all over the world, and I hear the same story again and again. They say, "David, I've been studying for years, but when I try to speak, the words don't come out. My mind goes blank." Does this sound familiar to you? You may know hundreds of words, but in the moment you need them, they disappear. It can feel frustrating, and sometimes it makes people lose motivation. They think, maybe I'm just not good at languages. Maybe speaking English is not for me. I want to tell you something important right now. That is a myth. A myth is a story people hear so many times that they start to believe it, even if it's not true. The idea that you're not good at languages or that some people are born with a talent for speaking is simply not true. Speaking is a skill, just like driving a car, cooking pasta, or playing a sport. Nobody is born doing those things. Everybody learns them by practicing, step by step. You learned how to speak your own language by hearing it every day and using it little by little. You can do the same with English. Here's another myth. Some people believe they need to study for years before they can even start speaking. They spend years reading, writing, and doing exercises, thinking they will be ready one day to start a conversation. But the day never comes, because the only way to get ready for speaking is to actually speak. Just like you can't get strong by only watching workout videos, you can't become comfortable speaking English by only doing silent study. You must use your voice. You must feel the words in your mouth. Without that, your English stays in your head, locked away, instead of flowing out in conversation. I also know that many learners worry about making mistakes. They think, if I make a mistake, people will laugh at me. They will think I'm not intelligent. Let me share a secret. Native speakers make mistakes too, all the time. We repeat words. We change our sentence in the middle. We forget what we were saying. That's just natural human communication. When you speak English and make a mistake, most people don't even notice. And if they do, they still understand you. Your message is what matters, not perfect accuracy. Nobody stops talking to a friend just because the friend used the wrong word once. This fear of mistakes is like carrying a heavy backpack full of bricks. Every time you open your mouth, you feel the weight, and it slows you down. The best way to drop that weight is to accept that mistakes are part of the process. They are not an enemy. They are part of learning. Every time you make one, you are getting feedback. Your mind notices it, and next time you adjust. Without mistakes, you can't improve. So instead of avoiding them, let's welcome them as proof that you are trying, proof that you are moving forward. Think about when you first learned to ride a bicycle. At first, it was difficult to balance. You probably fell once or twice. Maybe you felt embarrassed, but you got back up and tried again. After a few attempts, you stayed on the bike longer and longer. Soon you could ride without thinking about balancing at all. Speaking English works exactly the same way. At first, you might feel wobbly. You search for words, you pause, you don't feel smooth. But every time you try, you get better. Your pauses become shorter. Your words come faster. And one day, you realize you are speaking without thinking so much. That feeling is freedom. I have worked with many students who started completely silent. They listened, they understood some things, but they never spoke because they felt nervous. After I encouraged them to start with just a few ready expressions, everything changed. They began using, "Hi, how's it going?" or "Can you help me?" in real situations. It was just a couple of words, but it made a difference. Their fear started to fade. When you take the first step, the second step becomes easier. And when you have small successes, your brain says, "See, you can do this." That belief is powerful. There is another reason some learners feel blocked. They think they need to speak like a native speaker. They imagine they must use complicated vocabulary, fast pronunciation, and idioms they don't even understand fully. This is not true. You can speak clearly and simply, and people will understand you perfectly. In fact, many native speakers prefer clear, simple sentences, especially when talking to someone from another country. Communication is not about showing off. It's about connection. A short, simple answer like, "I'm doing well, thanks," can be more effective than a long, complicated sentence that makes you nervous. I want to challenge the idea that speaking English fluently means speaking without any pauses or thinking. Even native speakers think before they answer, especially when the question is interesting or personal. They pause. They say, or "let me think," and that's completely fine. You can do that too. You don't have to fill the silence with panic. A pause is natural. It can even show that you are paying attention and choosing your words carefully. So, give yourself permission to breathe between sentences. The truth is, your journey to speaking English is not about proving yourself to anyone else. It is about giving yourself a tool that will open doors, connect you to new people, and let you experience the world in a bigger way. Every time you try, even if it's not perfect, you are taking a step forward. And those steps add up. One day, you will look back and realize you have walked a long way. You will remember when you were afraid to speak, and you will smile, because that person is not you anymore. Right now, even if you feel stuck, I want you to believe this. You can speak English. Not someday. Today, you already have enough to start. And the more you start, the more you grow. That is the real secret. And now, if you are getting value from what you're hearing, take a quick moment to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. It might take you 2 seconds, but it helps this lesson reach more people who need it. And it tells me you want more episodes like this. Go ahead, subscribe, like, and join our growing English-speaking community. All right, my friends. Now I want you to imagine that we are sitting face to face in a small café. There's a cup of coffee in front of me, maybe tea in front of you, and we are practicing together in a relaxed, friendly way. I'm going to introduce our first essential expression, and I want you to treat this moment like a real-life situation. That means, when I say it, you repeat after me out loud. Don't whisper. Don't just say it in your mind. Let your mouth and voice move. This is how the magic happens. The first one is, "How's it going?" I'll say it slowly. "How's it going?" Now you. Again, "How's it going?" Perfect. This is such a friendly and easy way to start a conversation. If you meet a friend at the bus stop, you can say, "Hey, how's it going?" They might say, "Good, how about you?" And suddenly, boom, you're having a conversation. No stress, no complex words, just a natural flow. Let's try with some real-life imagination. Pretend you are in a park. You see someone you know from work walking towards you. You smile, wave a little, and say, "How's it going?" Go ahead. Say it right now. Your turn. Good. I want you to notice how short it is. It's like a door. You knock, and the conversation opens. You don't need to overthink, just use it naturally. Now, here's another one that is super useful. I'm just looking. This is what you can say in a store when someone asks, "Can I help you?" Imagine you are walking into a shop, looking at clothes or books. The assistant walks over and says, "Hi, can I help you find something?" You smile and say, "I'm just looking." That's it. They understand you're not ready to buy yet. It's polite, short, and clear. Let's practice. Repeat after me. I'm just looking. Again, I'm just looking. One more time. But now pretend you are in a real store. Ready? Go. I'm just looking. Great work. I want to tell you something. Practicing like this, with imagination, trains your brain to use the phrase in real life. Your brain doesn't know the difference between imagining and actually being there. So if you picture yourself in that store, smelling the books, or feeling the fabric of the clothes as you speak, you are building strong connections in your mind. Later, when you're really there, the phrase will appear without effort. Let's do one more together. Can you help me? Now, this one is like a golden key. You can use it anywhere. In the street, in a store, at the airport, in a restaurant. Whenever you need something, you can start with, "Can you help me?" It's polite, it's direct, and it works. I'll say it slowly. Can you help me? Now you. Again. Can you help me? Imagine you are lost in a new city. You stop a person on the sidewalk, smile, and say, "Excuse me, can you help me?" That person will probably stop and listen, ready for your question. Try it with me. Picture yourself in the city, maybe holding a small map or your phone, feeling a little lost, and saying, "Can you help me?" Nice. Do you feel how polite and friendly it is? People respond well to that. Here's another fun way to practice. Talk to the objects around you. Yes, I know it sounds a little funny, but it works. If you're in your living room, pretend the chair is a shop assistant. Look at it and say, "I'm just looking." If you're in the kitchen, pretend the fridge is a friendly person at the park and say, "How's it going?" Your cat, your dog, a plant, all of them can be your silent English practice partners. They won't judge you, and you will get more comfortable speaking out loud. When you practice with me here, it's not just about learning the words, it's about rhythm and sound. Listen to how I say them. Then try to match the music of the sentence, the rise and fall of the voice. How's it going? Starts high at how's, then falls down a little at going. I'm just looking is smooth and light. Can you help me? Goes up at the end, like a friendly invitation for the other person to say yes. This is what makes your English sound alive and real. Now let's put them together in a little scene. Imagine we're meeting for the first time today. I see you and say, "Hey, how's it going?" You answer, "Good, thanks. Can you help me?" I smile. "Sure. What do you need?" You reply, "I'm just looking." See? 3 sentences. Very simple. But we've already had a complete interaction. And if you can do it here, you can do it outside in the real world too. The moment you use one of these in a real conversation and the person understands you, you'll feel a burst of confidence, like, "Wow, I can actually speak English." To make these phrases truly yours, repeat them in the morning, repeat them in the evening, and especially repeat them when you hear me say them. Repetition is your best friend. You're not memorizing in a boring way. You're training your muscles and your memory to work together. Soon, when you see someone you know, "How's it going?" will come out naturally, without thinking. When you're in a shop and someone approaches, "I'm just looking," will be ready to go. And anywhere you are, if you need help, "Can you help me?" will appear automatically. This is the real goal, to make speaking English feel like reaching for your toothbrush in the morning. You don't think, you just do it. And the more relaxed you are, the better it will sound. Now, if you've been practicing out loud with me today and you're feeling a little more confident already, Take a moment to click subscribe on this channel and hit the like button on this video. It's a small action, but it tells me you're part of this learning journey, and it helps bring these lessons to more people around the world who want to speak English with confidence just like you. So, my friends, now that we've been talking about these useful expressions, I want to give you some strategies that will help you actually remember them and use them in real conversations. I'm not talking about studying harder or spending hours with textbooks. I'm talking about simple, real-life habits that fit into your everyday life. You can do them anywhere, at any time. They are about building a small routine that makes English feel like a normal part of your day, not something you sit down to do only once in a while. The first thing I want you to do is speak out loud every day, even if it's just for a few minutes. I can't say this enough. Your voice needs practice. If you only listen silently, your mind may understand, but your mouth won't be ready when you need it. Think of it like dancing. You can watch dance videos for hours and feel like you know the steps, but when it's time to get on the dance floor, your feet don't move unless you've practiced the moves yourself. So, pick the phrases we've learned and actually say them out loud every day. You can do it in front of the mirror. You can do it while making breakfast. You can do it right now, just to get started. Your family or friends might look at you and wonder what you're doing, but that's okay. Maybe they'll even join in. The second thing is repetition over time. You might feel excited today and say the phrases 10 times each, but if you don't repeat them tomorrow, they start to fade. Repetition is like watering a plant. You don't pour a whole bucket of water once and then ignore it for a month. You give it a little water every day or every other day, and slowly it grows strong. This is how you build language in your mind. A few minutes each day is far more effective than one long study session once in a while. The third thing is to actually use these phrases in real situations as soon as possible. I know it can feel a little scary at first, but the sooner you try, the more natural it will become. Think of every conversation as a chance to practice, whether it's with a friend, a tourist in your city, or even someone who speaks your own language, but also knows English. The important thing is to start bringing these expressions into live interaction. Even one, "How's it going?" with the cashier, or a friendly, "Can you help me?" to a stranger can give you that push of confidence you need. The fourth is to listen to real English as much as you can and mimic what you hear. Notice I'm not saying study. I'm saying listen like you listen to music. Let it play while you cook, while you walk, while you relax. Your ears will start to recognize the flow of words, the way the voice changes, and you will naturally start copying that music when you speak. If you hear me say, "How's it going?" try to match my tone, my rhythm, and even my pauses. It's like learning to play a song by ear. The fifth is to think in ideas, not in translations. When you're about to use an expression, picture the situation, not the words in your native language. So instead of thinking, "Okay, in my language I'd say this, so in English I say that," you just think, "Friend, park, greet," say, "How's it going?" It's faster, and it feels more natural. This takes a little practice, but once you start, it becomes a habit. I have seen these habits transform students. One of my listeners wrote to me last month. She said that for years she was too shy to speak English, even though she had studied it in school. But then she started practicing a few essential expressions out loud every morning while making coffee. She listened to my episodes while commuting to work. She repeated what I said exactly as I said it. She started greeting her colleagues with, "How's it going?" and using, "I'm just looking" when shopping. Within 2 months, she told me, "David, I'm not afraid anymore. I speak, and people understand me." That's the power of small steps done regularly. You have to remember, speaking English is not about speed. It's not about showing how smart you are. It's about connection, being able to share your thoughts, your questions, your feelings with someone else, even if you come from completely different parts of the world. Every time you use a simple, clear expression and someone answers back naturally, you've succeeded. That's real communication, and it feels good. And here's one last piece of advice that I think is just as important as repeating and listening. Enjoy the process. If you treat speaking English like a chore, like homework you have to finish, it will always feel heavy. But if you see it as a fun part of your day, something you can play with and explore, you'll want to keep doing it. Laugh at your mistakes, smile when you try something new, celebrate when you understand someone or when they understand you. Keep that light attitude and you'll learn faster than you expect. I speak to you this way because I know from experience that confidence is built in small actions. We're not building a house in one day. We're laying one brick at a time, every day. And one day, you'll look around and see that you already built the wall, the windows, the roof, without even realizing how far you've come. That is exactly how your English will grow. So keep these phrases close to you, like tools in your pocket. Keep saying them out loud. Keep repeating them every day. Keep listening to real English and matching the rhythm. Use them the first chance you get in a real conversation. And most of all, enjoy every step of this journey. Now, if you've learned something here that made you feel more confident about speaking, take a moment right now to subscribe to the channel and click the like button on this video. It's such a small thing, but it helps our community grow. It allows me to keep bringing you these practical lessons, and it tells me you're here for the long run. Go ahead, subscribe, like, and let's keep building your confidence one conversation at a time.